New England Patriots visiting the Denver Broncos with no Bo Nix. The matchup feels incomplete. Seriously, it really does. You have to be devastated. You have to be feeling so bad for Bo Nix and the Denver Broncos, who worked so hard to get to this point, the number one seed in the AFC. They take down the Buffalo Bills, my Bills, and Josh Allen last week. They deserve this spot. They deserve their starting quarterback in the lineup. Now, that's by no means a hit or a dig at Stiddy. I think he's going to do a good job this week. But this is Bo Nix's team, and this is what he worked for, so it was really unfortunate to see him go down. Stiddy steps into the lineup. It'll be interesting to see how Sean Payton deals with that. But once again, the Patriots, little bit of luck on their side here. Look, New England's got a free ticket to the Super Bowl. It is right there for the taking. This is a team that feels like within an instant rebuilt from being a dynasty back to being on top. Bringing back Mike Vrabel, first as a player, now as a head coach. In year one, Mike Vrabel built something that very few head coaches will in the NFL. And that is a championship roster from ground up, from a team that won 4 games last year, I believe. That's pretty incredible. Drake May, who's played great football all year long, an MVP candidate, and with a great defense and honestly average weapons, they put together some great wins. They were the number 2 seed in the league, and there's a good reason why they're at this spot right now. I applaud the New England Patriots. It pains me as a Bills fan I'm supporting today, but it's the truth. New England's got winning in their blood, man. It is something that they do. It's in their genetics. They know how to win over there. And now they're looking at a Super Bowl. And if I'm Vrabel, I'm Drake May, I'm Robert Kraft, I'm sitting there, I'm like, listen, like, this week by no means is an easy game, but I'd give us like an 80-20 shot. I'm picking the Pats in this game because they have the starting quarterback, because the defense is great, and because, honestly, they've won 2 playoff games without having great performances from their MVP QB. Like, let's be honest. The Patriots still haven't gotten a good playoff performance from Drake May. If we're keeping it real, he hasn't been good in the playoffs. He's turned the ball over a bunch. He's made a ton of mistakes. And yet they're still putting up 28 points last week and beating a really good Houston Texans defense. If the Patriots can get one of the signature regular season games out of Drake May, they got to be one of the scariest, if not the scariest team in this playoff picture. They got to be feared. Because this is a team that can win when their QB is average or below average. But when Drake May is his accurate self, when he is making plays, when he's got the confidence, got the swagger, when he's finding Stephon Diggs, Kayshon Boutte, talk about a miraculous one-handed catch on the weekend against the Texans. Derek Stingley Jr., by the way. They can get things going. This offense, if it can get rolling, if Travion Henderson can catch that spark, Ramondre Stevenson, yes, very slow, but does his job very well for this offense. And against that Broncos defense, I'm looking at Hunter Henry a lot as well. Tight ends feast against Denver. So, of course, I'm going the Patriots in this game just because there is no Bo Nix. It's hard to side with Denver here, although I love Sean Payton. I think he was a genius against us last week. Really picked us apart. I see the Patriots in the Super Bowl, and they are right back at it. They are a franchise that has experienced a ton of Super Bowls, a ton of success, great coaching, great quarterback play, and now they got that again. And they could very well be champs of the AFC again, which is crazy to say. Talk about started from the bottom, now we hear. Quoting Drake now. Started from the bottom, now we hear. All the way up to the top. I got the Patriots in this game, but I will say, and I said it on Instagram this week, and I said it last week on the podcast as well. Sean Payton really, really impressed me last week. It was a game that you watch, and if you turn on the film and a few of the personnel adjustments that he made and just picking and choosing his matchups, it was very impressive. This game solely relies on Sean Payton. You can't ask Stidham to be a 350, 400-yard passer in this game with 4 TDs. It's just not reasonable. So it's going to rely on Sean Payton. Sean Payton's got to coach the game of his life to advance to the Super Bowl. And even then, once again, he's going to have to do it because, sneak peek, but if he's going up against that Seattle defense, I mean, that's New England, Seattle back-to-back. That's tough. That's tough to do as a play caller with a QB that hasn't thrown a pass, I believe, since 2023, which is crazy. So this is a game, and listen, I called Sean Payton my X factor for this team going into the playoffs because even with Bo Nix, the Broncos don't really have a ton going for them offensively. Courtland Sutton, probably the lower end of wide receiver ones, although I want to give him his respect. He's great. He's made some crucial plays all year long. They don't have a ton. You know, the backfield is all right. J.K. Dobbins, R.J. Harvey. I don't know what J.K. Dobbins is looking like this week. I don't know how his health is progressing, if he plays in this game or not. But again, like, you're looking at your number 2 option, and it's Evan Ingram, it's Troy Franklin, it's Marvin Mims. It's guys that you don't rave about, right? So that was where my thought process was heading into these playoffs with Sean Payton saying, like, hey, listen, if Denver's going to want to win games, it's going to be on the back of Sean Payton play calling and calling his ass off, really. And he did it against the Bills. What I'm expecting from this game, just to lay it out for you, if we're being realistic with how we believe Sean Payton's going to call the game, it's going to be very similar to what Bo Nix was at the very beginning. Very simple, short passes, easy completions, lots of screens. Denver does that pretty well, so expect that to be a crucial part of this game plan. Get Stiddy in the mix. Maybe you toss a double move or two in there, a slanting go, a stop and go, something like that, an out and up. Try to get New England sleeping. That's how you win the game, right? And you're going to ask your defense to step up and make plays. And you know what kind of shocked me last week about this Denver defense? There were a lot of like bend, don't break, but they broke a lot against the Bills. And speaking with some fans of the team, just because I feel like the general consensus on Denver's defense was that it was always pretty good and a pretty elite unit. But to close out the season, they just weren't that elite, to be honest with you. They're still a very good defense, like PS2, reigning defensive player of the year. They added Hufanga, who's an absolute beast, heavy-hitting guy. Drake Greenlaw. Obviously, they got a bunch of guys up front who have put pressure on the QB all year long. I believe they lead the league in sacks. So, yeah, they have players, but to end the year, it's kind of been like all right, mediocre. They're going to need to step up. Like, the game is on the back of this defense in Denver and Sean Payton. Sean Payton's got to call the game of his life. You can't ask him to do too much. You really got to dumb it down for him. Win on first down. Pick up a few yards. Get second and medium. Get second and short. Get him confidence. Throw the dagger shot when it's there. And play conservative football. You're not going to win this game by slinging the rock 50 times and asking Stidham to throw posts and digs and corners and timing routes. You got to keep it simple, and that's what it's going to look like, and it's going to rely on this defense being a heavy-hitting unit that puts pressure on Drake May. The thing you look at if I'm Denver right now, if I'm Vance Joseph, I'm saying, well, Drake May's turned over the ball a lot. We're playing at home. Our fans will give him some problems offensively with the cadence. Let's get off the ball. Let's get after Drake May. Let's put pressure on him. Let's force the turnovers. Let's make him uncomfortable. Let's get him out of his groove, and that's how we win this game, really. I'm taking the Patriots. I don't know if I said this, but to me, the odds are 80-20 New England. Unfortunately, we don't see a Bo Nix this week, but with Sean Payton, you never want to count him out, right? It'll be a good game. I hope so.